Here we go, here we go. So let's start it again. Let's do ErickaH's chart. This is a past life reading. For ErickaH, I want to show you guys how we look at an astrological chart for past life readings. So there are many conventional things that people talk about in popular culture, and then there are other things that an astrologer might use to look at. There is a little bit of leeway in this kind of approach to things, but at the same time, you should use some common sense. And because, okay, so whatever, let's just go on, I'll show you. So there are three main things we look at to begin with. You want to look at the moon in the chart. You want to look at the south node. You want to look at Saturn. Saturn's your karma, of course. And then we're going to get into houses like the 12th house, maybe stuff behind the sun. And then we want to talk about the individual planets, especially if they're a bit debilitated. But ErickaH's Venus is okay. Her Mercury is okay, so she probably didn't have problems in as far as love or thinking or communicating in a past life was concerned, just saying. Okay, let's move on. So the first thing we want to look at is the moon. The moon is your subconscious. In Vedic astrology, they say the moon is what you're thinking. It differentiates between, say, like Mercury, because Mercury, although Westerners think is what you're thinking. It's kind of what you're communicating and speaking, but also it's your thinking as well. But you got to differentiate in astrology between your mind, which is your subconscious, and your thinking, which is what you're thinking. So, anyways, neither here nor there. People tend to say moon, it's what you're feeling, but really we're talking about your subconscious articulating itself. You guys got that? And as far as that, if the moon is your subconscious in modern astrology, your moon carries with you all of your emotional learnings and lessons from your previous lifetimes. It's not necessarily your karma or your karma or your it's not your life lessons. It's what you were in a previous, it's like who you were in a previous lifetime. It's like looking at your sun in a modern horoscope. The moon is kind of like looking at your sun in a past life horoscope. So in this case, ErickaH's moon's in the 8th house, right? So there's something about her in a previous lifetime which had a very, very close association with death and with endings. And it's in Leo. So maybe she was a bit of a drama queen. It also has to do with death by fire and possibly death by water, because it's the moon in the 8th house, and the moon is always oscillating on, off, back and forth. And the moves very quickly. There's a possibility that she turned her back on someone in a past life who was really sick, or she turned her back in a past life on someone who was dying or was sick or really needed her. And in this lifetime, because her moon is in the 8th house, she's bringing that. And she has a bit of karma, perhaps, I don't really know, but I would imagine that she has to take care of someone. Not like physically take care of her, because there's nothing in the 6th house. It's not like she's a nurse or anything, but she's going to have to be there. Like someone around her is always sick. Because Pluto's in the 12th house, there's a possibility that maybe someone around her has a lot of mental instability, or there's a lot of death around her, or she's going to involve herself with seeking things beneath the surface, right? Death, transition, and with the occult. I think in a past lifetime with the moon in the 8th house in Leo, maybe she actually was somewhat of a witch in a previous lifetime. And, maybe she liked to uncover secrets. Maybe she was a detective. Maybe she was a surgeon. She could have easily been a surgeon in a previous lifetime. She could have also been a killer in a previous lifetime, or she could have been a mortician. But there's something involved, the occult. She could have even been a priest in a last lifetime, except priest is kind of 9th house spirituality stuff and teaching lessons. So that's all really important in her past life. All major themes that would have happened. She would have been very creative, very expressive, very demonstrative. Again, maybe close association with death. And she might have been sick or had to take care of someone who's sick. And in this lifetime, she's brought that karma with her forward. In this lifetime, she has to watch out for death by fire. she definitely has to watch out for death by drowning. She's gonna be around someone who's gonna drown. I don't know if that's ever happened to her. I don't know if she knows this or have we ever talked to it. I would say pretty strongly someone around her is gonna drown her in this lifetime. All right, next. Hey, what's up? All right, next. It's all cool, Jalen, whenever you're there. Hey, Sharma, what's up? Good question. All right, next. Let's check it out. So that's the moon, right? Neither here nor there. Next, we're going to look at the south node. Now, the south node, it's your past, right? It's the tail of the dragon. You bring everything in the south node with you into this lifetime, and then you try and snake it up and use it to support the north node. In ErickaH's chart, there's a lot of stuff. Energy is pouring into Aries. It's pouring into there. So in the past, and it does make, forget this red, it makes, we're talking about the moon. It makes a very harmonious aspect to the moon. So, and Venus is conjunct the south node. So we're looking at a situation where in a past lifetime, she was probably very independent, very independent, extremely creative, probably spent a lot of time at home. Her mother was probably very nurturing in a past lifetime. Hey, you got a beast. She was probably very nurturing in a last time, very loving in a past lifetime. In this lifetime, moving forward, she's going to bring the love and joy from the family moving forward. It doesn't mean she's going to not have problems with the family. Contrary to what that means, that past life lessons that she brings forward actually cause a lot of problems in this lifetime. She probably, with the south node in the 4th house, even with Venus there, is always going to have some kind of problem with her mom, always going to have some kind of problem with her parents, always going to have some kind of problem at home, even though she should actually make a lot of money from the house. She should make a lot of money in real estate. But again, getting back, in her past lifetimes, there were a lot of emphasis on her being very individual, relying on herself, shining for herself, right? Moon and Leo, being the center of attention, me. Not necessarily me, but like doing it herself. In this lifetime, the energy splits, right? The energy focuses now, she has to put more emphasis on, okay, I'll say that in a sec. So now, she has to go from me to really focusing on we. The north node in Libra, she has to focus on we. The problem is with Chiron right here, it's difficult to focus on we and our things, and it's difficult for her to rely on others because they're always going to let her down. There's always going to be some problem in with joint people and relations. There's always going to be some kind of nonsense there. Until she can find someone to resolve that karma, there's always going to be some nonsense. All right, let's flex back for a bit. So we talked about the south node just now pushing all the way to the north node. And ErickaH's south node is very me in the 4th house. And the 4th house, there's always going to be problems there in the home life and with mom. Even though Venus is there, Venus should smooth things over, but it's always going to be a bit of a problem. And then her ultimate goal in this lifetime is to push out to the Libra thing, which is we rely on others. She's going to have to rely on others at some point in her life. Now, another thing we want to look at is Saturn and its karma, because Saturn is the planet of karma. And her Saturn is right here in her it's in her 3rd house right here in this chart, but it's also in front of her sun. So she's bringing with her a lot of karma related to communication and transportation. In addition to that, her Saturn is pretty close to her Mars. Not exactly super close, but pretty close. So she's probably always wants to be on the go, but like always wants to get out of the house, always wants to get along, always communicating with people. But at the same time, Saturn is there locking it down. So Mars is edgy. And Saturn is holding it back. With Saturn, it's a past life, it's karma. It's your current karma. It's what happened in a past life, you're bringing it forward. So something happened with communication with your brothers and sisters, and something in a past lifetime did something, and in this lifetime, you guys are bringing forward a lot of pain. You and your brothers or sisters bring forward a lot of pain. One of you might die. One of you might end up with like a real serious accident or major mental health situation or major disturbance. You might go to jail. You might have your movement restricted. People are always telling you what to do, and that's what the deal is. But it doesn't have to be like that. You want to you want to be expressed. You want to hear. You are dreamy. You do like to heal people, and it's what you do. You're going to put a lot of energy into healing people. Anyways, that's your karma. When you do that stuff, when you do the third house stuff, when you move around a lot, it causes problems. When you do the communicate with the brothers and sisters, it causes problems. When you're writing, it might cause problems. Even though you're a very good writer and you're very dreamy and you're good at helping others and you're great at healing other people, you can heal people with your words, but at the same time, it's where you're tormented. So even though you try and heal people and you try and help, you might be a social justice warrior, they all shit on you. Everybody shits on you constantly, and it's not something that you did, right? And you're always going to have problems at home. Okay, moving on. So that's all about your karma, your past life. Those three planets, those three aspects point to your past. Karma with some, sorry, I pointed to Venus. It's the south node. That's your karma. Then we want to look at your dharma, where you're going in life. And we already looked at the north node. And now let's take a moment and look at the sun on where you're going. The sun is in Pisces, so you're coming from the moon. You're coming from, in a past life, being very dramatic, being very playful, being very probing, maybe being a witch, maybe being associated with death, the occult, maybe healing, maybe research, taking care of other people. You're bringing all of that from the past, and in this lifetime, you're supposed to have more faith, right? So the moon is the past, and the sun is moving forward. It's where your dharma is, where you're supposed to be successful this lifetime. And you're supposed to be successful in this lifetime by partnering up with others, by letting others decide and choose, and by putting sun in Pisces is putting energy into healing other people. So it's taking all this 8th house witch stuff, like working with herbs or whatever, and moving it all into the 3rd house about studying and telling people and spreading the information directly about all that information that you're bringing from the past. The only problem is your Saturn is right there, and that karmic lesson is a difficult lesson to learn. And that's the problem with all of it. I know it sucks, but that's it. And that's the gist. That's your mini past life reading. There's a little bit more. There's 12th house stuff going on. There's this stuff going on a little bit. We could talk a little bit more about Mars conjunct the sun, how you put your energy. Maybe in the last lifetime, you obviously put a lot of energy in the last lifetime towards taking care of yourself. And now this lifetime should be more dedicated to healing other people. And that's pretty much what it says. I wish you the best. I think you're pretty good at your current lifetime. That's what you're going to do. All right, now if you want to know if you were a guy or a girl in a previous lifetime, I will tell you right now. So that is girl, guy. You were a guy. Ericka, you were a guy and Ericka, you were a guy in a previous lifetime. You were definitely a guy in All right, next. All right, Ericka, so there you go. So that's how it goes. So the past life indicators are first the moon, right, is karma, right? Past life karma is the moon. Past life karma, south node. Past life karma, Saturn, big one, right? And then moving forward, dharma is the north node, and dharma is the sun. It's where you're moving forward in life. But in a lot of astrology, when we're timing things, you don't want too much of a major conjunction to the sun, because that's going to burn up your energy. So you can say in a previous lifetime, or in this lifetime moving forward, because Mars is so close to the sun, in the last lifetime, Ericka might have avoided responsibility in the last lifetime, and in this lifetime, she has to put a lot of energy into representing herself or taking care of herself or push herself forward, right? Because Mars is definitely pushing the sun. But keep in mind that the North Node is in Libra. Her ultimate destiny is to do this energy to make it up over there, to heal, to make it to the North Node. And that's kind of what she has to do. And so it's not easy. With your Mars right up against your Sun, there's a tendency to be me, 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 me. But you don't have to be me, 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 me. Me, 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 me is actually more of a first house thing, I'm thinking. But like with this, just push yourself first and you'll get there. Ericka's going to be okay. All right, next. Oh, you're welcome.